What's up, YouTube? Just got back from taking the van for its maiden voyage today. I posted a short earlier today about the cold start after sitting overnight. Things running really well. I redid some of the spark plug wires, threw some new ones on there, and then remade a coil wire that actually fits. The van, quick little short tour. Got everything in, it's running really well. I ended up pulling the timing a little bit from where I was at on the initial video. Pulled the timing a little bit, hooked up the vacuum advance, that's all working really well. But now I'm kind of scrambling trying to figure out what I'm working on tonight. I got the rest of the parts I need for the Falcon. That's the box right there for all of the isolator bushings to line up the rear end, the Fairlane rear end that's going in here, the 9-inch. I also got the Super Glide up on the lift. I posted the video of the head install and the intake install. Everything else is pretty much bolted on except for the dash. I got the carb on, I got the gas tanks on. I meant to take a video and then just got distracted. I got carried away just jamming on it, trying to get it back together. It's ready to run and start right now. I just gotta hook up the one power wire, the orange one that's just kind of dangling there that broke in the teardown video. Remake that terminal connection, a little eyelet ring for the tack, and fill it up with some gas and fire this thing back up. I'll probably end up doing this just to clear space. I got that Ironhead. I don't have any videos on that one yet, but the Ironhead that I picked up out of a barn fire is sitting at the shop. Everything's welded on that. I got to drill and tap one hole for the primary tensioner shoe. So if I go ahead and get this off, that will be ready to clear the bench here for that Ironhead. This one is for sale if anybody's looking for an 81 Sporty. Turnkey, runs wonderfully. Fresh rebuilt motor and trans, all new gears, shafts, everything. I spruced this one up over the winter. It's a super strong runner. I loaned it out to one of the employees that works for me at the shop. He's been literally wrench free, maintenance free for 2 months on this. I think I reset the tack. I'm almost positive I reset the tack when I rebuilt this. 641 miles on a fresh built motor. Hassle free. Absolute gem of a good starting running bike. People don't want to pay money for anything these days, which I don't blame them because I'm cheap too, but if there's any merit to me wrenching on these and rebuilding them and keeping them running, this is probably one of the best running bikes that I have currently. Shovelhead chopper runs great. Super Glide ran great until the head gasket. The bagger can sit there as long as it wants and still starts right up every time. As I was talking earlier, telemarketer, well, essentially a telemarketer in real life. Somebody was coming by trying to ask about bug bombing the house and things like that. Wasting time. But back at the Super Glide, Sportster's running great. FLH is running great. FLH can sit as long as it wants. Still works. I got you queued up on the Super Glide because I decided I'm just going to throw this dash back on. We're going to fill up the gas first, and then maybe I'll fire it up and then start putting the dash back on. I don't really care about the dash, to be completely honest. It was a nice luxury on this bike. But we'll see what happens here. Let me fill up the tanks and think about that for a minute and we'll be back. We're back. Just gassed it up, or started to. Realized I forgot to put the crossover vent tube, or the crossover tube on the front back on. Well, I was just kind of pouring some gas in, so we're going to keep going on that now, since I got the fuel line hooked back up. It's going to spill everywhere, but I don't really care. Again, this is my daily bike. Some people like taking good care of their stuff. I do too, mechanically. I could care less what it looks like cosmetically. If you ever get a close-up picture, I don't know if it shows up in the video, but shitty tweaker flames that are on it. That's all powder coat. Did those at the shop for durability. I'll come around to the left side at some point and show you what it looks like. It holds up okay. It holds up really well, actually. But the left side cap always leaks gas, especially when they split tanks. I don't know if anybody's got a better suggestion. I've tried multiple different types of gaskets and all sorts of doodads. Tried running 2 gaskets, tried bending the tabs out. I've never had anything to help alleviate the gas tank leakage out of the left side tank, other than underfilling the tanks. Which, if we're doing like a weekend kick around the bars and stuff, I'll usually be okay with that. But when we're traveling, I'll fill it up pretty good. Let it leak for the couple minutes that it's gonna be sitting at the gas station filling up. I love old bikes. I appreciate old bikes, but they're also meant to be ridden. If they're dirty and covered in gas and oil stains and filthy and crusty, to me that makes them better. It will take a rider, doesn't matter what year it is, what vintage it is, it could be a brand new bike off the dealer floor. If you're somebody putting the miles on, that counts more than anything else. I saw you took my drill and my bits. You took my power tools.
I did.
Putting the super glide back together, babe.
About time. I totally forgot. I think I was still filming.
Yeah, hold on one second. We'll be back. And we're back. Quick little distraction. That's usually what happens at the house at night. But I got gas in. I just turned the petcock on. Gas is flowing. Take you guys along for the first initial start. Hopefully it actually starts on its own. I'm guessing it's probably going to sputter and die a couple times from being drained for the last week. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. That's not what's supposed to happen. Having fuel issues, guaranteed. get the fuel back into the bowl. As soon as it didn't start, I knew it was a fuel thing. Again, also turning the gas on doesn't really work when you don't pour enough gas in to hit the on position of the 3-valve petcock. So there she is, running and idling like she's supposed to. Choke is fully off. Throttle revs up. Drops back down. Now I just got to do about 40-50 miles, and then I'm going to retorque the head bolts. But other than that, sorry I didn't have a chance to get all the full dash tank installed. I'll keep going with the dash periodically. Honestly, this is probably going to sit like this for about a week because it is my daily bike. I will make sure I get the camera on when I go to rewire up the dash. I'm going to cut this hot orange lead because that is a hot wire. I'm just going to trim and cap that one and run it dashless for the next week or so until I get a little bit more time. But she's a good runner. Just for giggles, we shut it back off. Obviously the gas cap's still gonna go on, but if we shut it back off, hit my momentary secret key. Okay, so I was just looking at the dash trying to figure out what else is left on this to finish this and just get it done. This red little eyelet connector, that's where the orange wire goes. I got one ground lead here that needs to get hooked up, and that goes right into the frame over the dash tank cover. So I got one wire I got to patch here. I got the one ground lead, and then I have a quick connect spade terminal mounting underneath the tank, and then I have the TAC speedo drive, or the speedo drive rather. Doesn't really work all that well anyway. The TAC works well, this does not. I was gonna hook this up right now, turn the camera back on to do just how to rewire, a rough rewire for lights on your gauges and then working things. And then I remembered that this needle on the original gauge cluster, not original to this bike, but a factory Harley gauge cluster, the needle's broken and bouncing around like crazy, probably because on my trip to Tennessee the bolts backed out on this. So you got two bolts here, little tensioner bolts. All that these do is tighten down this bracket flush up into the gauge cluster to stop it from banging around like it has been. These are definitely a little loose. If you don't have enough wiggle room, you might have to shim around the back side of this before you tighten these bolts down. So rather than rush this, like I said, I'm just going to crimp that hot wire, cap it, and then I'm going to dig through my parts bins. I think I have another original Harley gauge cluster to put back in here, but unfortunately that's kind of where I'm at right now. It starts runs rides. I don't have a speedo on this bike. I don't have a speedo on, well, that one I guess technically does. And I have one on the bagger, but it's so far off it's not even worth having on there. It's been a couple years, but I've been taking off speedos and tacks on every bike that I've had. Just recently, in the last year and a half, I've started actually putting them back on and trying to appreciate that. Speedo in my truck is about 15 miles an hour off-ish. Speedo in the van is working proper. The Falcon, I don't really care. That's going to be a kick-around hobby car. Listen to your engine, hear what it wants to do, what it doesn't like, what it, you know. Having the TAC hooked up and gauges are very beneficial. I definitely recommend doing that if you want them. But I've had so many vehicles without speedometers, it's really not that big of a deal. But super glad it's running and driving. So that's your quick recap. I didn't do a full tank and reinstall. I know a lot of people have been following on that split tank removal. Basically, watch that video in reverse. That'll give you everything you need to know. I think I specified what washers I used in terms of shimming and things like that too. But this one's back together. I'm just gonna cut off that lead wire and run this dashless for a little while until I can dig out the rest of the parts I need for that. The motor's just about ready. I got a brand new timing cover sitting here in the box. I just got to put it back, unbox that, put the timing chain on, get this small block ready. Torque converter's down there. The heads are down there. I'm going to run those heads for now. I do have to put valve springs in it for the cam that I'm putting in the Falcon. But other than that, I got the oil pan, the scatter shield, the AOD trans. Everything else is pretty much laid out, ready to go. The 350 that I'm not doing anything with anytime soon. Chopper still runs fine. Sportster runs fine. Bagger runs fine. And then, like I said, I got the isolator blocks for the leaf springs. So this is the main reason I'm running these at all. I was just going to hard bolt it, but the new rear end has perches that are set up for this bigger diameter. So your leaf spring bolt rests inside of this. The rear end sits on this. Without it, it shifts around and shimmies around a ton. But there's that. There's a add a leaf kit that I'm going to run temporarily. Super high quality, generic AutoZone, every auto part grade. But I'm going to throw the add a leafs in on this and try and get the rear end buttoned up. If I have time, I'm going to keep jamming on that. I'm not taking you guys underneath the car because I haven't figured out a good way to do that yet. But we still got some daylight left, and if I do start messing with the Falcon, I will update you guys later. Other than that, everything now seems pretty happy. Everything's running, everything's working, and other than that, you guys have a great night. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.